When it comes to scary stories, there's no shortage of them in Hollywood. Here are the top 5 scary Hollywood stories that have happened on set. Number 5. The Conjuring. Based on the real-life investigation of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, The Conjuring series is arguably one of the scariest movie series ever made. So much so that many of the props used in the film were actually taken from the Warrens' own personal collection. And some say that once filming wrapped up on the first movie, things didn't exactly end there. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, director James Wan recalled a creepy experience he had on set. There was this one room in particular, which was the main bedroom where we filmed most of the Conjuring scenes. It wasn't until after we wrapped that I started to hear more. And more from crew members who experienced strange things in that room. Moving objects, shaking beds, even hearing whispers. One crew member even claimed that he saw the ghost of a little girl standing at the foot of the bed while filming was going on. Number 4. Poltergeist. Tobe Hooper's Poltergeist is one of the most iconic horror films ever made. But unfortunately, it's also one of the most cursed. Not long after the movie's release, Heather O'Rourke, who played the main character Carol, and tragically passed away due to a misdiagnosis by her own doctors. But before her passing, she shared some very disturbing experiences with her co-stars. I never felt anything like that before or since. There was a definite feeling when we were making the movie that something else was there with us. Sometimes it would be a feeling in the pit of your stomach. Other times it would be a cold spot. I can remember sitting in a room going through my lines, and then suddenly feeling ice-cold air on my face, and then it would just as quickly disappear. Her co-star Craig T. Nelson also recalled some rather strange activity happening on set. We did have some unexplained things happen on the set of Poltergeist. There were lights out, doors slamming, the old house settling type stuff. But they all kind of paled in comparison to what happened to Heather. She had some pretty traumatic experiences that were more than just a little frightening. Number 3. The Exorcist. You can't talk about scary movies without mentioning The Exorcist. Even though it was released over 50 years ago, it's still considered one of the most terrifying films ever made. And that's not just because of its scary subject matter. According to those behind the camera, the movie was plagued with bad luck from start to finish. During pre-production, author William Peter Blatty, who wrote the novel and screenplay for the film, began to question whether or not he should even be making the film. He had several dreams that convinced him that God did not want the film to be made. But of course, he ignored these warnings, and production went forward as planned. Soon after filming wrapped, a fire broke out on set, destroying much of the set that had been built. But that was only the beginning. Over the next few weeks, cast and crew began to die under mysterious circumstances. Director William Friedkin put it down to the fact that the film was simply too disturbing for some people to handle. But others say that the film had actually managed to open up a doorway to hell itself. Number 2. The Haunting of Hill House. Based on the novel by Shirley Jackson, The Haunting of Hill House was one of Netflix's first big hits. And it's no surprise why. The show is absolutely terrifying. What makes the series even more amazing is the fact that the series is based on a true story. The author Shirley Jackson was staying at a haunted mansion called Hill House when she wrote the novel. And it said that she became so engrossed in the story that she began to make the fictional characters come to life. But she wasn't the only one. According to those involved in the Netflix adaptation, the spirits of Hill House were very much present during filming. Carla Gugino, who plays Olivia Crane, said that she and the rest of the cast felt a great sense of dread while on set. You couldn't help but feel that you were being watched all the time. We never experienced anything overtly scary, but there was definitely a sense of unease that would come over all of us when the cameras stopped rolling. Henry Thomas, who played young Hugh Crane, had a similar experience while filming his scenes. It was one of those situations where you could feel the energy shift. Sometimes I would walk into a room and I could feel something really heavy, like there was a physical presence in the room with me, and I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was there watching me. And it would always go away as soon as the cameras started rolling again. Number 1. The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is widely regarded as one of the best horror films ever made. And if you ask anyone who has stayed at the Timberline Lodge, which served as the exterior of the Overlook Hotel, they'll tell you that the film's curse is very much real. Author Stephen King hated the film so much that he even went as far as to make a mini-series of his own to make up for it. But despite how divisive the film is, one thing everyone can agree on is that some very strange things happened during its production. Shelley Duvall, who played Wendy Torrance, was pushed to her breaking point both physically and mentally. She had to endure dozens of takes of Jack Nicholson screaming at her, which caused her to become incredibly anxious and paranoid. But that was nothing compared to what happened when she was alone. According to Shelley, she often heard strange voices and footsteps in the hallways when no one else was around. But the most disturbing part was that they seemed to be coming from inside the walls themselves. Things got so bad that she eventually had to wear headphones just to get some peace and quiet. But they weren't the only ones who heard strange noises. Director Stanley Kubrick even admitted that he heard some unsettling sounds himself. One night, I was working late in the projection room with my 2 assistants. It was about 3 in the morning. We were looking at some rushes, and suddenly we heard loud screams coming from the room next door. When we investigated, we found that the door was locked and that nobody was in the room. We tried to rationalize it away, but we couldn't figure out what it was. Now it's time to share your thoughts. Which of these scary stories was the most frightening to you? Do you know any other scary Hollywood stories that should have made the list? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.